Like, the people saying that the Indiana Fever are going to be 500 are crazy. They were 500 last year. They were 500 last year. And again, they faced, if you guys did not see the Rebecca Lobo post, again, Jesus, these people hate Rebecca Lobo. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. So Rebecca Lobo posted about it. What difference the year makes in terms of Fever's out of schedule? Last year they started with one of the toughest stretches in WNBA history. This year's schedule is much friendlier. So last year they played 11 games in 20 days, 5 home, 6 away, and 2 back-to-backs. And by the way, in those 11 games they played the Sun twice, who by the end of that 20 days was undefeated. The Liberty twice, who by the end of that 20 days had lost 1 game, and it was to the Sun. The Aces, the Sky, who at that time with Marina Mabrey and a healthy Elizabeth Williams were they were tough. They weren't good, they were tough. In fairness, they did play the Mystics, they did play the Sparks twice in that run, so they had some easy games. But like, when you start off the season with Sun, Liberty, Sun, especially last year's Sun team, like, why is anyone surprised there? And they played the Storm twice as well, by the way. I don't know why I'm saying it. They played the Storm twice in that spell. So in that 11 games, they played the Storm twice, the freaking Sun twice, and the Liberty twice. So it was the hardest, and the Aces. It was the hardest possible schedule that you can have. And it was mad. Like, again, it took Caitlin Clark a couple of games to really get used to WNBA. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh no, she figured it out straight away. Look at her numbers. Like, we can be honest. The Indiana Fever struggled, or Caitlin Clark struggled in quite a few of those games. Yes, she had the Sparks game where she had 30 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. The only person in history of WNBA to ever have that stat line. But she also had a game against the Aces where Kate Martin outscored her. She also had a 3-point Liberty game. Why am I just saying 11 games in 20 days? They played the Liberty 3 times in that spell. Not twice, 3 times. 3 times in that spell. And, like, that's the thing. And they still got to 500 on the end of the year. And by the way, the only reason they were 500 was because once they made the playoffs, Chrissy Sides was like, we're good. Like, once the Indiana Fever officially made the playoffs, Chrissy Sides was like, yeah, you know what? We're fine. We're going to stop running the ball. We're going to play sides ball. We're going to go for paint touches. We don't care about anything else. We're going for paint touches. And if you're looking at it as well, it was genuinely just a weird thing. And they would have been above 500 wasn't for that. So anyone saying they are going to be 500 this year is crazy. My over-under would be 29 games. I think 29, they could win 30 plus. They genuinely could win 30 plus. But there's 44 games in the season. So if you're looking last year, if I'm not mistaken, only one team won 30 plus. It was the Liberty. Someone said Sides wasn't as bad as people made her seem. Sides as a assistant coach would be great. Sides as a culture setter and getting everyone on the same page and all that, or like that part of coaching basketball, Chrissy Sides was fine. The problem is that you have to actually know one single thing about the sport of basketball. Like, Chrissy Sides coached basketball like she had read a handbook on how to coach basketball from the 1960s. She coaches basketball like she watched the Hoosiers documentary and thought that, or not documentary, Hoosiers movie, and thought that's basketball still is like that. She coached basketball like it was 1960. But like, again, if we look at these standings last year, it was only really the Liberty that were like out way ahead by themselves. Like the Lynx won 30 games last year, and the Connecticut Sun won 28. Like, I expect them to slot into where the Connecticut Sun were. And, like, I genuinely think that 29 games, because there's 4 extra games, 29 and 15, I think is the over-under. They could win 30 or they could win 25. Like, 25 and 19, or 19 isn't a bad season. It's not a good season. 25 and 19 will probably put you in the 5th seed spot. And you can probably get, like, if you're the Fever, if you're lower than 5, you should be worried. The goal for the Fever should be top 3. I think the realistic expectation for the Fever should be 3rd. However, I do think that there is a possibility that they drop to 4. But 5, if they go below the Storm, I would be very concerned if I was the Fever. I would be very concerned. But again, the Fever could do exceptionally well and win 36, 37 games. Like, that is a big thing. But anyone saying 500, like, is crazy. Watch Unrivaled via YouTube. Watch channels go for the Fever games in the UK. League Pass. You get to see everything on League Pass. League Pass on mobile, you get to watch everything. Their toughest opponent. So when we talk about teams that can match up to them, I'm trying to think what team can match up to them. The Storm, like, we don't even know if Malonga's coming over. Like, nobody knows if Malonga's coming over. So the Storm, no. The Aces, no. The Aces can't guard them. The problem with the Aces is the Aces are one injury away from literally not being a factor. The playoff liberty, because Benijah Laney-Hamilton is supposedly back for the playoffs. If you add Benijah Laney-Hamilton to that team, the Liberty and the Lynx match are such a tough matchup, because what the Lynx can do is the Lynx have 2 players that can kind of guard Caitlin Clark, and not only that, they can rotate. The Lynx can rotate Courtney Williams and Bridget Carlton, Kayla McBride, and even Carly Samuelson coming off the bench. And if Anastasia Kosu comes over, Anastasia Kosu, Diamond Miller, they just have this revolving door of just athletes that they can throw at Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. So the Lynx are the toughest matchup by far. By far. The Ace will be a top 3 team in the league as long as AJ Wilson is in the league. They weren't the top 3 team last year. AJ Wilson had the best individual season of her career, and they had Kelsey Plum last year. Dallas will match the Fever. Okay, Lamar. Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet right here. This clip's going to be there. This clip is going to be in a video. Let's make a bet. I will buy Paige. I will release I'll make an I was wrong about Paige Bueckers merch. Wear the I was wrong about Paige Bueckers t-shirt. I will wear that t-shirt. And I will, if the Wings are tied with the Fever, I will wear that t-shirt for every video talking about Paige Bueckers for next year. For the next year. They're not sweeping the Aces. No one's probably gonna sweep the Aces. The Fever stopped. Fever didn't care about those last 2 games against the Aces. The first 2, yeah, Fever got destroyed. The Fever, once they made the playoffs, which they did after those last year, the Fever stopped caring. But no, I will make that bet. And I tried to buy the Sky Rose jersey after I lost that bet, but once they come on sale, I will buy that jersey, unfortunately. But yeah. Anyway, that is it, lads. The Fever 29-15 is to be the expectation. And for me, I think the Fever, if the Fever face the Lynx, I think it'd be a really difficult one to do. However, like for the Liberty, I think everyone other than the Lynx and the Liberty, the Fever are just better than. They're just straight up better than.